Hi, it's Tom Mayers with Lands End Marina. I just have a project I'm working on. I thought I would share some of the techniques we have used for 40 years or more to work on boats. So this is a sailboat that we built like 30 years ago or more, maybe 35 years ago. And it's been a good little boat. The guy who built it subcontracted out the fiberglass work, and he didn't do a very good job, but we have most of that under control. And now we're just working on just normal maintenance of a 35-year-old fiberglass boat. So what we have is small blisters and big blisters. So we've gotten the big blisters. Most of those we just hit with a grinder and then filled with all fair, and it works pretty well. It sands easily. It's supposed to be good underwater. So we've done that part of it, and now we're just doing a small detail, which is the little small spots that are left after you sand a big area. The small spots are what's left after you've sanded it. You dust it off, you look at it, and you see the small spots that you couldn't see when there were a bunch of them. So we do like 99% of the work with a grinder and fill it with all fair, vibrating sand it, and then we come back afterwards and do the small spots. So I'll just tell you about my apparel. A friend of mine told me, he said, "Hey Tom, why don't you put on some nice clothes when you're on video camera?" But basically, I could hire a model and it would be a whole different deal, get somebody who's good looking and young instead of me. But I'm basically just doing it as I work. I see small things that may be helpful to other people, and so anyway, that's what we're doing today. I'm just going to show you what we're doing and how we do it. So I've been working from the back to the front, and so we're right, working our way to the bow. And so I'll point out some bad spots that we have left, but like I said, the major ones you can see, they've already been filled, they've already been sanded. So now we're just looking for a few small bad spots that we have left, and in the back you can maybe see them. They're just the ones that are white with dust around them. So we came up with this technique a long time ago, and you often think, well, gee, if I just had a battery operated Dremel, it'd make it easy to not have to set up, carry a cord around, and do all that. So basically we just came up with a technique for doing it that I think works pretty good, and I'd like to share it with you. So I'll show you right now. So when you're doing this filling on the bottom, what you're looking for is most of the time they say, well, don't go too far. Well, when you're patching the bottom of the boat and you're getting to this final stage, you don't want to miss something because you're trying to get everything that looks like it needs work. So that's what I'm doing, is just trying to find those spots, and I'll show you how we're doing it. Okay. This is our Ryobi drill. It's an old one. We've replaced batteries several times, thrown the old ones away and put new ones on it. But it's got a regular bit on it. If you put too small a bit, the bit will break. But you just want to look for bad spots. Like right here, you can see I've done this one and this one and these right here. So we're looking for just spots that look like I've just missed them. They were so small that I didn't get them last go round. And I just use this to more or less, bell the tiger. Just say, here you go. That spot needs to be filled. And sometimes you're rewarded, and all of a sudden you see like, you'll see water come out. So that's a real success when you find a blister that was hidden. But these are more or less just little divots. You want to make an error on the side of, you know, doing more than less. So you've got to be careful it doesn't get away from you and go all over the place. But, you know, basically that's one of the good things about repairing boats is that you already know how to repair them. So if you do any damage, you can always fix it. But got a few up here. The drill, they tend to loosen, so you just have to get them every once in a while. So these are small ones. We could paint over this and go on about our merry way. But you'll see down lower that you start to see some cracks, like right here. And this is where the paint's cracking. Probably not a big problem, but if we etch it, fill it, you know, that's going to take care of any problem there. So I'll just take this and walk right up that crack. And at some point you probably ought to grind it off or have it sandblasted. There's a few little teeny holes here. You can barely see them. But again, we're trying to fix things. We're not trying to cover things up. So that's where we are at this point, is just trying to move it along and fix things that we find. So I'll move the camera. Okay, now you've got, you know, a few more cracks here, a few little holes. So I'm going to get those. And like I said, this is just a real portable and easy. You don't have to worry about shagging a cord around, even though I have a cord right here. So you can see that, you know, basically you just have to follow as far as it goes. If you see that the paint's chipping, you know, right over here, there's a low spot, right in a fill right here. So you just want to etch that. You notice I don't even have my earphones on because this doesn't make much noise. So there's a couple of holes. Like I said, I don't get paid anything for, you know, from Ryobi or from anybody, you know, advertising. So I'm trying to just give you some techniques that we use that we find successful here. And like I said, these cracks, you can see how they get away from you. But once you use an epoxy filler and you open it up good and you have a good etch surface, you know, it does pretty good just to go ahead and patch these things like we're doing. Some more cracks, it just keeps showing up. You know, somebody once said it's like popping zits. It's really not that bad. I mean, you don't have to worry about, you know, getting a lot of dust in your lungs or anything. It's a nice environment here, and it just needs to be done. If you don't do it, it's gonna sneak up and get you. You're gonna have to do it later. So anyway, this is Tom Mayers at Lands End Marina, and I think you get the idea. And so once we do the bottom, it's good for about a year. And that's about it. And then the next year, we're doing the same thing. We haul the boat out. It hasn't been getting used a lot, so it's been sitting on dry land. But I'll show you the environment here. It's real pretty. And, you know, we really enjoy living here. We've been here for, well, the family's been here for 100 years. And there you have it. That's Land's End right there. And we have the boat just turned over like this, and we've been doing this for years, and we just haul it up on rollers, and then we tie it off to a tree over there, two places, just so it's a safety line. And then this boat is kind of a real you know, it's a boat that over time you find things wrong with it and you fix it. We put 300 pounds of weight around the dagger board because a friend of mine had a similar boat and he did the same thing, put 300 pounds of weight. And he said it just made it much more user friendly, and of course it's harder to pull up on the beach, but it's more stable when you're sailing. It gives you sort of a more stability than having a real light boat. And then you know, the sides of the boat, when we were pulling it over, they started to cave in, so we had to reinforce them. So we went actually in there and put like 2 feet of foam, and then glassed over it and made something that's won't oil can when you tip it up. But it's been a great little boat. It's lasted for 30 years. I've had some really good sailors sailing it, and they like it. It's just no nonsense. You can take a reef in the sail if you want. You got holes in the boom so you can get in and reach to all the different things. And so anyway, that's it. And Tom Mayer signing off from Lands End Marina. So hope you're having a good day, and I'll keep trying to post these things. Thank you.